If I was ready to play the typical Nigeria big man, quote and unquote, I would spend 1 hour there. I mean, I would spend 10 minutes. Because once they went inside, I was listening. Then the manager came out, Your Excellency, sir. Your Excellency, sir. How are you? I said, I'm not fine. Okay, don't worry, I will sort you out. Because I said, no. Anything you want to do it for everyone. Because how will you sort me out? Even those I met there, who came before me, you are asking them to pay more money. Even for the next flight, well, they told me they have another flight for 8:30. So, if I want to be typical person, Nigeria big man, my face alone is identity. They sort, quote, I said, don't sort me out. Don't extend any courtesy to me. Don't extend any privilege to me. Just enforce my right. And if enforcing right means I'm causing trouble, I want to cause trouble forever. When they say block the gate, I was not with any policeman. I was not with any personal assistant. I was alone. And I carry my bag alone. So, can I alone block it? Can I? One person block it? So, what had happened is that these people who observed they were selling tickets draw my attention that they are selling. But they don't want to take us. It is that crowd that blocked the gate.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's been almost 48 hours since that happened. Almost 48 hours since a serving senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria stood on the baggage belt at airpiece section of the airport, essentially preventing the airline from operating. Almost 48 hours since the management of airpiece challenged the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria FAAN to release the CCTV footage of what actually transpired at the airport. Almost 48 hours of claims and counterclaims by both Senator Oshiomhole and airpiece. But have you noticed that none of the regulatory agencies, including the Federal Ministry of Aviation, have spoken on the matter? Not NCAA, not FAAN, and not even Minister Festus Keyamo. All of them pretending as though their office and ministry has nothing to do with the show of shame that we have been forced to witness in the last 48 hours or so. Now, for the avoidance of doubt, all these three agencies and ministry are responsible for ensuring the smooth operation of Nigeria's aviation industry and providing a safe and efficient travel experiences for all passengers. So why are they all keeping mum in a matter like this? Of course, we now know why, and I'm sure not much of what you're about to hear will surprise you. So according to Premium Times, this is the reason why all the government agencies, ministry, and individuals that are supposed to have weighed in on the matter are cowardly silent. Sources familiar with the matter informed this publication Wednesday that aviation regulatory authorities have been instructed not to impose any sanctions on Mr. Oshiomhole or comment publicly on the matter. This is despite indications that the lawmakers' conduct may have violated several aviation regulations within the country, as well as established best practices. The sources said Mr. Oshiomhole's actions are in contravention of sections of Annex 17 of the International Civil Aviation Organization's ICAO Act of 2022, Nigerian Civil Aviation Regulations Act 17, and also violates relevant provisions of Terrorism Provisions Act. So that's Nigeria for you in 2025, where obviously some animals are more equal than others. And it just had to be so, because no matter how you dice it, this right here is a crime. Because no one person, no matter how highly placed, has the right to halt operations at any section of the airport, which from what is being reported prevented entry and exit of traveling passengers for several minutes, and may have even posed some security threats to some other passengers at this airport. I mean, if that had been done by someone like Very Dark Man, wouldn't the story have been different? And that is not to say Air Peace itself as an airline has been operating above board. As a matter of fact, they are known to be notorious for bringing out the worst instincts of their passengers. Only a couple of months back, this is what NCAA itself said about Air Peace.
But when a particular operator is notorious for this particular issue that we have heard, that we are discussing, then it begs the question whether or not the NCAA or the authorities are doing anything to rein in this operator.
Well, as you may be aware, January, the NCAA, for the first time in its 25-year history, sanctioned 5 airlines for consumer protection-related infractions. One of them may or may not be, since you don't mention a name, may or may not be the airline you're talking about. But yes, yesterday the DGCA did meet with an airline, to discuss some of these issues. I will be specific because there have been a lot of complaints about Air Peace, for instance. But what I need people to understand is that Air Peace is Nigeria's largest, domestic operator. And because they operate more flights than probably all the other airlines combined, it follows naturally that their disruptions will be more. It's common mathematics, And again, like I said earlier, not all disruptions are the fault of the airlines, right? Our duty at the CAA is to meet with the operators, discuss with them, find out what their challenges are. The areas where the airlines are at fault, the CAA will stamp its authority. Where it's not the airlines, the airline is not culpable, we discuss with the other stakeholders with a view to resolving these issues. But we must understand at this point that we do have a capacity problem in Nigeria. What the NCAA is saying to the operators is simple. If you have aircraft on ground with technical issues, bird strikes, and the rest of those issues, then cut down the size of your operations. For instance, if you are carrying out a 5-aircraft operation and suddenly 2 of those aircraft have faults, then you must cut down the number of sectors you are flying for that day, so that you don't sell tickets to passengers to destinations you may not be able to fly. And if any operator continues to commit infractions such as this, then there will be heavier sanctions this year than there were previously.
So clearly, beyond Senator Oshiomhole's shameless tantrums here, there are bigger problems that needs to be urgently addressed in the nation's aviation industry. If not, Air Peace itself might eventually go the way of others that operated before it.